So here we go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another quiet and lovely edition of Inclusion Matters podcast with Inclusion Pro Wrestling. Why do I say it's going to be lovely and quiet? Because as you can see, there's only 3 of us instead of 4. That's right. The crippled Messiah this time is in my shit list because he can't even come to his own damn podcast to make me play double duty. You know, maybe he's just drinking too much of that damn orange juice, loving on that orange frickin' Cassidy, who can't even keep a damn title from John Moxley. So Messiah, wherever the hell you are, you're in trouble, mister. You don't want to see me, and you might have a job back on Monday when you come back. Principal Tapass, it's nice to see you actually on time for once and not late. It saved you from getting a demerit from me. So at least thank you for taking your job seriously.
You're welcome.
Did I ask you to talk? That's right. Don't talk unless spoken to. That's right. Yeah, you keep looking at the sky. But tonight I'd love to introduce you to Thomas Silva out of New Mexico. So Tom, why don't you tell us about yourself and we'll start the podcast. And no lip from you, Mr. Red Shirt.
Yeah, red shirt. Howdy, y'all. I am Thomas Silva, and I am from Las Vegas, New Mexico. Yeah. So, I'm just a little simple cowboy from the ranches. Just out here trying to make some money for my family and the ranch. Out here wrestling, doing that thing, trying to survive every week, getting thrown around. You know how it is.
Yeah, we know exactly how that is. So tonight we want to start by thanking our sponsors. And I know Tapass knows a few of them, so I will start it off and then he can list off the few other ones that he might know. We'd like to start right now with our major sponsor. Thank you, Kevin Wasson and American Family Insurance. The CARE program, Bruce Nichols Painting, Doty Gallery Tattoo. Do you know the rest, Tap? No? Okay, moving on. Precision Power Washing, Kathy's Clutters, El Ranchero Mexican Restaurant, Los Jalapenos Mexican Restaurant, Bruno's Pizza, Burgerville of Longview Kelso, North American Tarp, and make sure you tell them they're rugged made. And I believe that's it. So, first question to you is, who were your wrestling heroes growing up?
Mainly it was a lot of like Eddie Guerrero and Shawn Michaels. I was a huge Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair. But it was like I was born in 2001. So my era of growing up watching wrestling was like 2005, 2006. That's when I could comprehend stuff. So I think I got a lot of good influences then, and that's a lot of like what I like to watch when I have the time. But I still like the classics too, like I really like Sting a lot. I used to really geek out about Sting. Yeah.
All right. Can you give us your top 5 female wrestlers of all time?
Top 5 female wrestlers of all time. Okay. Number 1, I'd have to say Chyna. I've always respected Chyna. She's always put in great work, and she was very intense as a female wrestler. Number 2, okay, I gotta say Callie because I was always a huge Callie fan growing up. That's kind of my era, but that's just a personal thing. Not because she was she was a decent wrestler, but that's just a personal thing. Of course, I like what Rhea Ripley's doing right now. It's very impressive. Charlotte Flair. And I would say Gypsy Mac, because that's a person that I've seen firsthand evolve into what they're doing now and currently are still evolving and trying to push the wrestling culture forward. So I would say that's my top 5 right there.
Nice. I like your top 5.
Thank you,
Interesting.
thank you.
You'd say Gypsy Mac. She's a woman that we've been trying to narrow down and put on this podcast for months. But I mean, I understand she's really busy and wrestles a lot, and like one of your personal trainers, has a lot of championships from what I understand too. So she keeps herself busy. In fact, we almost had her on our inaugural show, but I guess she got the date booked or something else because I haven't heard back from her yet. But Gypsy, if you're watching, we'd love to have you on an Inclusion Pro Wrestling show here in the very near future. So what is your pre and post match routines?
Well, generally, I try and get my stretches in because I do a lot of stuff that I feel I need to be a little limber for, and I try and get that in, do maybe some push-ups. Of course, apply the baby oil so that I look nice and shiny for everyone, and I can show off the guns, you know. And I pretty much I get my because I wear like a poncho pretty much when I come out, kind of like in kind of showing off my culture in a way because it's very common here in New Mexico. We have a lot of different styles of those. So I'll throw that on, I'll throw my hat on, and I'll just sit there in my gear and just try and get into the mindset of what I feel that day. Like many times I'm a pretty despicable person, so I'm just in the backstage just looking at myself if I have the chance, or just getting in my head just thinking about how much I hate certain people and how much I just, you know, how angry I can be because I got to have that intensity when I'm in the ring with my opponent. And I just try and get myself into the mode where I'm ready to perform at the best level I could, and prepare to like put my body through some intense stuff, which I feel is it's interesting to try and get your mind prepared in that way, but at the same time, it's very essential because I've noticed if I'm not prepared mentally, I will definitely lack when it comes to being in the ring, and it'll show in my head. So I'm very perfectionist on how I like pick myself apart at times. So yeah.
Very cool. So go ahead, Mr. Tapass, your question.
No, you were going to speak. Go ahead.
Nope, I cut you off. I already asked a question. I was so rude. So, Mr. Man in the Red, please ask your damn question or remove yourself and go to detention.
What is your favorite cookie or snack?
Cookie or snack? I love Star Crunch. Star Crunch is where it's at. If anybody says different, they can meet me in the ring. Do you guys like Star Crunch?
I'm not even sure what it is.
Really?
Yeah, we're not even sure what it is.
It's I think it's Little Debbie's, and it's like chocolate and caramel rice cakes, basically.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
It does.
They're delicious. If next time you're in the store, look out for Star Crunch. It's always on top of my list.
Ooh, sounds amazing. All right. Well, we like to ask the top 5 questions. So, in homage of our crippled Messiah, who's actually getting crippled tonight because he's actually going to have surgery performed tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah. Your top 5 tag teams of all time.
Okay. Number 1, I gotta say I'm a huge Hardy Boys mark. Me and my cousin, we would play wrestling growing up, and we would always argue on who got to be Jeff Hardy because nobody wanted to be Matt Hardy for some reason. But I was a huge Hardy Boys fan. I like DX. I really like. I don't know if this consider. I mean, there was a lot of them, but like the Von Erichs, whenever they got together, I always enjoyed them. Who else? Another good tag team. I really love the New Day, of course. They've done a lot of stuff to change tag team wrestling, and then the Young Bucks. Gotta throw them in there. They're kind of low, but at the same time, it's my list, so I feel how I feel.
I'm gonna throw a little off the wall question in there.
All right.
If you could
Oh,
create
no.
a tag team tournament, strictly brother teams, which teams would you put in there?
Just brothers. Okay, I mean, because you got to get the Hardy brothers. Of course, you got to get the Brothers of Destruction, right? The Young Bucks. Brothers. The Bret Hart and the Anvil Neidhart, the Hearts.
Yep.
That would be good. Who else could we throw in there? The Dudley boys are technically brothers, as we know. You know, they look so alike. And I don't know. I'm kind of blanking right now. Was it just 5 or was it as many as I could in this tournament?
As many as you want to put in the tournament.
Okay. I think I'm going to do a tournament of 5 for now.
That works.
Yeah, I'm spacing out right now. But I like this on the spot little thing we got going on here.
That's good. Okay, so I'd be remiss if we didn't bring up indie wrestlers, just because I think we've got a mutual friend that might be on your top 5 list, or at least I would hope he'd be on your top 5 list, because he'd be one of my top 5 indie wrestlers of all time today. But your top 5 male independent wrestlers.
Damn, I'm just gonna end up saying all my friends. I might as well. And then I'll hit you with one that I really like. Screw it, I'm just gonna hit you with my friends. All right, Dante King. I'm very impressed with his work. I've always been a huge admirer. Every time I see him, he's always coming up with new, innovative ways to do stuff that I never thought of. And he's just getting stronger and stronger by the minute. He's insane. Gypsy Mac, she's great on the indie scene. JKM, he's still pretty new to the indie scene, but what that guy can pull off in his amount of time of training is very impressive. Ocean Avery, he's really good too. He's I would call him a mountain of a man, because he's very tall and very strong. But he puts on very hard-hitting matches that you want to look away, but you can't, because it's just intense. And then, of course, Gino Rivera. I look up to him a lot as far as the indie scene, and he's the one who's been in the indie scene for, I think he said 15 or 16 years now. So I think he knows a thing or two.
And it's funny how he mentions everybody that was in Over the Ropes Academy with Gino Smith, or with Gino Rivera.
Yeah. OTR, off the ropes.
Off the ropes, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny, it's the first time actually a boyfriend and girlfriend have been mentioned in the same list. So, bravo to you.
Okay, cool. No one was ever like Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green. That's kidding.
So, in case you're lost there, Mr. Man in the Red, it was Deontay King and Gypsy Mac.
I kind of figured that.
Just in case you're behind on your independent wrestling history, I know we don't have the Messiah here to keep you on your toes, so I got to kind of play double duty.
Alrighty. You have one most underrated wrestler of all time.
Most underrated wrestler of all time. Who really needs their flowers? I don't know. I really like Lance Storm. I mean, I want to know if I would say he's underrated. He's gone pretty far, but I really like to watch Lance Storm matches. Like, he's
Fair enough.
Yeah. It's not someone that you normally like, I need to watch wrestling. Throw on Lance Storm. But I mean, if I see a Lance Storm match and he's with someone I like, I'm like, you know what? This is going to be a good match. So, yeah.
All right, so we're all about promotions here. So actually, I won't ask that one yet. I'll wait. We'll wait.
Okay.
Let's do top 5 managers of all time.
Have y'all ever seen Dave Chappelle?
Yes.
All right, I got you. Lucas Scratch, Lucas Scratch, Lucas Scratch, Lucas Scratch, Lucas Scratch. I think that's 5. Lucas Scratch is currently my manager, and he is, as they call it, the devil. So yeah. But honestly, I'll answer your question like you asked. I'll go a little deeper than that. Bobby the Brain, very great manager. Paul Heyman. Everybody likes Paulie. Melina, because the shrieks that she made me hate her so much, but it was so effective. And she was really good at making people just mess up. Another good manager. Missing. Man, I can't remember his name. What's that one dude in ECW that had the whistle?
Oh,
Do you remember him?
Captain Lou Albino. Alfonso, yeah.
Yeah, Alfonso.
Yeah.
I loved watching that guy. Everybody hated him, but he was just so entertaining to watch with his whistle because he was so into it and pissing everyone off. It was great. I like that. I like that a lot. And another great manager. Here, this one's a curveball. I'll just throw it to Billy Gunn because, hey, it's been interesting watching AEW with what they've been doing lately. So they make it work.
Well, I guess I'll do Messiah's story since he's not here to share it. Again, we miss you, Messiah. We love you. Get well soon and come back and kick ass afterwards. Before he did this podcast, he did another podcast with the original Pitbull, Gary Wolf. And Albino was on his podcast. And after every word, he'd blow the damn whistle. So after an hour podcast, he didn't have any hearing left. So he says to this day he's hard of hearing because of the whistle and that interview with him. So
I can believe it. Jesus. I wonder how long I can last. I want to find that episode now and see how long I can last.
So,
I was 7 whistles in and I had to call it. I'm sorry. It's okay. Tomorrow I'll get 6 more whistles. Then I'll hear the full story.
So the next question we have then is, we want you to put a promoter's hat on. I know it's hard to do this, but we want you to do your best WrestleMania card, 6 matches. Independent wrestlers are in play, and so are all other promotions. You don't have to do just WWE.
Okay. It's hard because the first match always has to set the pace. So let's see here. What can we set the pace with? Okay. We'll start it off with Ela Dragunov and JD McDonough. That'd be the first match. Second match, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte. Okay. Third match, Kevin Owens and Jon Moxley.
Ooh, I like that one.
That'd be crazy. Fourth match, who would it be good? I want a tag match. Ooh, Young Bucks versus the Street Profits.
Ooh.
That'd be an interesting show.
That would be an interesting match.
Let me see here. Fifth match. What could we do here? Ooh. Darby Allin versus the Rainmaker.
Ooh.
Okay. And then the final match has to be something big. Let's see. You know what? Actually, Kenny Omega versus freaking Seth Rollins, I feel would be a crazy match.
Oh, yes, please.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I feel like that would be a good main event right there. I'd pay for that.
Yeah. But here, I'll help you and I'll throw one in.
All right.
So here, picture this. Matt Cardona and all of his titles, every one of them on the line, versus the Treasure Troll, Gina Rivera, and all of his titles on the line.
Oh goodness, I think that'd be a good match. Honestly, it'd be something. I don't know who would win the titles though. That's intense. That's a lot of gold on the line.
That is a lot of gold and a lot of promotions on the line. Yes,
Yep.
it is.
Whoever wins gets to do the Scrooge McDuck dive into the titles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what you get to win. I like that.
All right, Pat, what do you got?
This is a two-parter.
Okay.
Your best Kofi Kingston Royal Rumble moment, and the second part is your favorite WrestleMania 3 match.
WrestleMania 3?
WrestleMania 3.
He wasn't alive then, dude.
Okay. Any WrestleMania match.
My favorite WrestleMania match. Okay, I got that then. All right, cool. So favorite Kofi Mania Royal Rumble moment?
Yes.
Okay. I always liked the spinning chair one. I think, did he pull that one off?
Yep.
Yeah. Because I've when I was younger, I would try and hang stuff up on my wall, and I had a spinning chair in my room. So many times I would do it on that. And I know from experience that is so hard to do. So I can't imagine trying to intentionally use it to like move and stuff. Jeez. So any small movement, you could just tip over and fall right on the floor. So I give him a lot of credit for that. That's a lot of faith for a spinning computer chair. And my favorite WrestleMania match would be the Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair. Yeah, I was alive for that one. So when I saw that, my little kid brain was just like crying, bawling his eyes out. Because I was a huge Ric Flair fan too. So like, I'm like, he's retiring, really? Like I really like this guy. I'm like, yeah. And then I remember then watching the next night the Hall of Fame induction, or was it the next night or no, the night before, watching the Hall of Fame induction and crying then too. So yeah, that's one that has a very emotional hole in my heart.
Super kicks him. I'm sorry, I love you.
Sorry, I love you. Bah! He's gone. Well, until his last match.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Right.
Well, let's see here. So, what advice has your trainer given you that you still live by today?
Have thick skin. It's good advice that helps in everyday life because in wrestling, like especially, you know how the audience are, they always speak their mind. They're always gonna tell you how they feel. So you're gonna have to grow this thick skin. Not only that, there's also going to be other people in the world that are going to come across you and have opinions on what you should do and how you should live your life. And it's up to you to kind of like weed out what you need and what is actually good advice and what is someone trying to be, you know, negative in a way, and just using what's positive to kind of influence yourself. But it's good to have that thick skin because no matter what, like there's always going to be something that's probably going to test your patience or test who you are as a person. So keeping that thick skin will get you far in work life and in any type of thing you try and pursue. Yeah.
All right,
Go
if
ahead.
you could pick one dream partner for a tag team, who would it be and why?
One dream tag team partner. Okay. Let's see here. I would say Montez Ford because I don't do much tag team stuff, so I would need someone that could kind of like guide me, and just the stuff he's able to pull off in the ring is magnificent.
Oh yeah.
I've never seen someone get so much height with a lot of his maneuvers. Like that guy can get air for sure. So yeah, and if he can teach me how to do that too, even better. Yeah. I'm like, what calisthenics do you do, man? That's intense.
All right. Well, I guess I'm going to unleash a brand new question.
Okay.
How do you feel about wrestlers being EVPs in companies? Should it be allowed? If so, why? If not, why?
I mean, I think they should because for a lot of business, it helps having someone in charge who actually knows what it's like to uh, be like the main worker for a company. So any company in general, if there's that disconnect between like head office and the people that are working for the company on what they do and what everyday life is, it can kind of make things hard to schedule and adjust. So having EVPs that understand the life of wrestling and how demanding it can be and how to be able to try and work with the wrestler to work around stuff, that's great. Um, but of course, there's always, with wrestling, there's always drama, beef. Um, but I mean, with anything too, with a lot of entertainment, there's always that fight for a spot. So I think if the EVP is still wrestling, like is still maybe a part of the roster, that's where things kind of get rough because then it may come into where people are thinking they're doing stuff out of wanting to get more TV time. But it's it's good if maybe the wrestler has experience and maybe stopped wrestling and became like took part of that EVP role. I feel like that's the best. But a lot of times we don't have perfect situations. So I think it's a great thing to have a wrestler who is an EVP, but at the same time, if it's done right, it's great. But we hear the stories about what's going on with AEW and all that, but at the same time, like it's all uncharted territory because WWE has been the mainstay program for so long that this is very new that stuff like this is happening. So I feel like with any new thing, it's gonna have its rough points and learning how to rough out these edges. So hopefully this is just learning experience and maybe things will get better in the future. But I think with any new thing, it just takes watching and seeing to see what'll happen to kind of make that judgment. Because I know when WCW first came out, everyone was probably like, this is the way you do it, man. These guys are going to be here forever. And then some bad career decisions, down the line can make everything flop within an instant. So, yeah.
Well, I won't go any further into that. You hit the nail right on the head where I was going with that. So I was hoping we were going to get a little deeper, but we're not going to get a little bit deeper because I don't want to bury them. So
Right.
Go ahead and move on, Mr. Principal Tap, Pat, or whoever the hell you are.
Come on, red shirt. We got you.
Your top 5 factions of all time.
Factions. Okay. The Ministry was dope. I remember that was pretty interesting. I like the Ministry. The Brood's considered a faction, right?
Yep.
Yeah. The Brood, they were awesome. I'm a huge Edge head. I'm not gonna lie about that. Who else? DX. You know, many memorable moments. Of course, NWO. And I'm really liking Judgment Day right now. It's they're putting on entertaining stuff. I can't help but to watch and be amazed because it's all people I like. And Dom, and yeah.
Well, thank you for not listing the Elite in AEW because right now I don't think they're a top faction at all. So thank you for not listening to the Elite.
No problem. I don't even know what they even are at this point. They're just existing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we did the tag teams, we did the faction managers. Here's a good one. Top 5 commentators of all time.
Ooh, okay. All right. I liked Matt Stryker. I really enjoyed Taz in his younger years. He's still pretty good now, but you can tell he just kind of he likes to goof around, which is fun. But I like his critical standpoint and how he uses his wrestling knowledge to commentate. I like Tony Schiavone. Of course, I like Jerry the King Lawler. And, puppies, all that fun stuff. And Jim Ross. I've always liked Jim Ross, but it is kind of sad to see how he's been lately. But I have always appreciated his commentary and how in-depth and every standpoint he's able to make the story more interesting, So Jim Ross is probably number 1 right there.
What is the worst injury you've sustained in the industry today?
Oh, okay. So far it's probably just been my knee. I was actually wrestling Plex, the Livest Mex over in Colorado Springs for Battleground Pro Wrestling, and right at the beginning of the match, it's uploaded on my YouTube. I went to roll out of the ring because I didn't want to grapple with him, and right when I rolled out, the rope caught my leg and just bent it backwards. And luckily, nothing broke, but yeah, I'm pretty sure. From what I've got checked, they're pretty sure I've torn my meniscus, which you really can't do much about. But now I just try and do a lot of leg workouts to try and make up for it. But it still bothers me, but it's not too bad. I feel like from other people's horror stories, I so far I'm doing okay. Don't knock on wood. Don't want to add more to the list.
Well, before I do my next question, programming note: the Livest Plex Mex will be joining us on Sunday.
Nice.
On this podcast. And again, since we're halfway through, we'd like to thank our sponsors again: Kevin Wasson, American Family Insurance, Precision Power Washing, Doty Gallery Tattoo, North American Tarps, Rugged Made, Kathy's Clutters and Event Center, El Ranchero's Mexican Restaurant, Los Jalapenos Taqueria, Bruce Nichols Painting, The Care Program, Bruno's Pizza, Burgerville of Longview, and Kelso. I think I got them all, unless I forgot anybody. And Principal Tap, you can remind me of that, but I don't think I did. So, okay, moving on. Program note, sponsors. Next question. Yes, next question. What advice would you give to an upcoming wrestler or manager?
I would give. Okay, so my advice would be, if you truly love this business, stick with it. Uh, there's a lot of it's gonna get rough. There's a lot of ups and downs. But if you stick with it, it pays off. We've had a lot of people, especially with our training camp, that they'll start training maybe a week or maybe 2 days or something. They'll start training and they'll be pretty good and they'll get a good grasp of it, but something in life will just cause them to quit, or just some of them will just fizzle out. And a lot of times they have a lot of potential. It's just they themselves can't grasp it at that moment. But if this is something if this is something you truly love and something that you really want to do, it's worth putting in time and effort for, because though there's times where it's really rough, the times when it's really good, it's really good. Like, there's no better feeling than when you go out and you have a match that you just are very proud of, and that's very rewarding, especially being someone who was a fan and always thought of it as wanting to do this, thought of hey, it'd be cool if I could do it, but never thinking it was possible. So if you find a way to where you're able to make your dreams possible, just do your best to try and chase it, because you never know where that can take you. So, yeah.
Go ahead, Tap.
If you could pick one person that is very well deserving of the Hall of Fame, who would it be and why?
Okay. I would say Jeff Hardy. Honestly, just because, though he's been through a lot, the stuff that he has pulled off in the WWE and the memorable moments he has made, I feel should make him a candidate for the Hall of Fame at some point in his life. No one's to say he's ever not gonna, but I feel like if anyone, he should definitely be put in there for just how groundbreaking he was to a lot of wrestling fans. So yeah. I remember being that kid that would I would cut up my long sleeve t-shirts that were too tight for me, and I would make little armbands with the holes, thinking I was Jeff Hardy.
Everybody wants to be the little brother, not the big brother. Everybody wants the little brother.
That's true. As a little brother myself in my family, it is definitely the best place to be.
I agree with that.
Yeah. See, Red Shirt understands.
Yeah, well, as the oldest, I disapprove this message.
Hey, but it's okay. Coming from the youngest, we appreciate you going through all the rougher stuff so that we could have a more chill life.
Yeah, you all get away with everything, while it's always the oldest kid's fault, and everything that goes on in your guys' childhood is always blamed on the older. Yeah, I know how that is.
Yes, it's quite nice.
But this isn't about me anymore. This is about you. So, what was your? Here we go. What was your best match of your career so far?
Okay. All right. This one is one that I really love. I would say my best match is with JKM in Borger, Texas. This was actually in the parking lot of a Pizza Hut. Hey, it was nice though, because the build up for that was me and him used to be tag team partners until I turned on him, signed my soul to the devil, and then we had a one-on-one match to try and settle our differences. Sadly, he won, but I still think that both our the battle we went through together was just very, very well fought. And I remember leaving that day with a very big headache, and my stomach hurt because he double stomped me like twice. So I mean, it was a well fought match and definitely one that I will always remember. And if you guys ever want to check that one out, that's one that you should check out.
Well, we
If you
might
want
have to
to,
do just that.
yeah, you can see my spine get double stomped through the mat in the parking lot of a Pizza Hut.
Ugh.
What better way to sell it?
All right, Tap, Pat, whoever the hell you are, just answer, just ask a question.
What is the craziest crowd you've wrestled in front of?
I would say the one here in Albuquerque. Gino Rivera had put on a show at Lava Rock Brewery here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and we actually sold out the event. So that was my first time working a sold out show, and we had about like 300 people there. So it was crazy to be like perform in front of that many people, and then at the same time to be in my own like hometown. It was pretty loud and very fun, may I say.
Okay, what is your opinion of death matches, and would you ever do one?
Okay. My girlfriend would hate if I said this too loud. No, just kidding. I would maybe do one if it calls for it, but generally I'm not much for death matches. I think that they have their own place in the culture. Just like music, every genre of music has their own place in the whole gasp of music. But me personally, I'm not much for death matches. I don't like to bleed that much. I mean, if it happens, it happens. If I break my nose because we're just beating the dog crap out of each other, that's fine. But if someone just wants to hit me with a kendo stick because it happens to be in there and we're having a death match, I don't know. But never say never. Maybe in my career, I might do a death match or two. We will see. But me personally, I don't prefer them. I like more technical stuff. I'm more of a submission type of beat 'em up type guy. I don't really rely on weapons much. Besides, actually, I do carry a belt called Betty. I take her everywhere with me, and that is my weapon of choice to hit people with. But that's not in death matches. That's more if I just don't like somebody and I just want to send a message. I take them to school like a very angry parent would. As you understand. So yeah, Betty the
Going off
belt.
of that question, what's your opinion on a submission match?
A submission match. I like submission matches, personally. Uh, it's great when there's two wrestlers that have a good, move set of submissions. But I prefer those more. I like submission matches. I like seeing the technical ways of people trying to get somebody down, and or even the Bret Hart and Stone Cold match where it was because Stone Cold really doesn't do very much submissions, but Bret Hart was basically trying to beat him into submission. So I like that concept too of another way to look at it. So I appreciate submission matches for what they can be.
Very cool. Okay, so another new question. How would you feel about a woman winning a heavyweight championship, and would you work in that promotion?
I feel like it would be cool. I mean, there are some pretty strong women out there. I've trained with Gyp. I'm sorry, my dog is going crazy. If you hear that.
Oh yeah, it's not a problem.
Okay, cool. I trained with a woman, Gypsy Mac, and she actually is the she was the veteran of our class. So many times she kicked my butt, may I say. So I think it's very possible for a woman to be able to beat up a man and take his championship. And if that happens, I wouldn't be too mad. I feel like that'd probably even be a good step in for wrestling. Like even look at China winning the Intercontinental Championship. Like I feel like that was very cool, and the story that they had going there was very new and interesting, and it was very believable because China was a beast, and I can even like someone like Bianca Belair, I can see that being believable of her beating up some champion, and I feel like she could probably even take Seth Rollins. I know that's maybe a out there thing, but I mean Bianca Belair is strong and very agile, and Seth Rollins is strong too, but I don't know if he's just as fast. You know, Bianca Belair is just a little faster. So,
Well, to be honest, anybody should be able to beat Seth Rollins now with a broken freaking back. So, I mean, just putting it out there, WWE. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that is a good point. Maybe this is her chance. This is her chance to go get the belt from Seth Rollins. Book it, WWE. No, I'm playing.
Okay, Tap, your turn, bud.
All right. If you could choose one dream opponent in a submission match, who would it be and why?
It would be Oceano Avery. Yes. That man is, I would say, very, and this is just my indie answer. He's very talented when it comes to submission matches and just being able to think of creative ways to wrap people up in a way. So if I were to choose any indie guy, it'd be definitely Oceano Avery. Now, if we're talking a superstar, I would say probably Kurt Angle, because I know that match would very much push me in a big way. If you want to talk about a submission wrestler that will definitely push you and make sure you have a great match, it will be Kurt Angle.
That he would.
Yeah, that's a very good answer for that. Okay, so you wrestled in Colorado and Texas. Have you wrestled in any other states?
Yes, Arizona, and actually so far that's pretty much it. And New Mexico, really. But I mean, of course, that's a given. But I am hoping to expand. I have only been wrestling for a year. I started in July 4th of last year. So I was able to start and like officially doing shows in January. So since then I've just been hitting as many states as I can. I'm hoping next to maybe go out to like Nevada or maybe Oklahoma. A lot of these other bordering states. I'm yet to fly, but eventually I'll get there. So yeah.
And with the trainers that you've had, you should be ready to impress the world here at any time. You know, just your trainers are phenomenal. Gypsy Mac and Ocean and Gino. Yeah, you've got phenomenal trainers. So bravo to you.
Thank you. Bravo to them for being very, very helpful people.
All right, Tap.
If your kids wanted to become wrestlers, what advice would you give them?
My advice would be just to give it your all. This is a very much a career that you pretty much have to schedule your whole life around. Like, this is something that if you're gonna do it, you have to go full into it, because it's very demanding on your life, and ever stepping away from it and coming back to it is the hardest thing. So I say just sticking with it and just being dedicated to it is what'll really help you get through. So, but I would never be opposed to my kids ever wanting to try wrestling or anything like that, because my parents were always very supportive of all the crazy stuff I've wanted to do throughout my life. So least I could do is also show that support if ever the chance comes. Yeah. Yeah. Before even wrestling, I started off in the doing music in the music industry in a way. So uh, I've been using my years because I started doing music at 14. So I'm 23 now. So I used my experience from doing on stage performances and like being in front of a crowd to like kind of help me get comfortable and being in a ring around other people that don't know who you are and don't care who you are. And yeah, because I remember being that 14-year-old kid trying to rap to a bunch of adults that don't know why you're there. And it was always hard crowds, but you still got to like give it your best because people can tell when you're not giving it your all. So always give everything your all.
I'm going to throw a curve question in there. Who would win in a battle of the bands between you and Chris Jericho?
Okay. So here's the thing. Chris Jericho makes rock music and I make rap music. But at the same time, there's something I can do that he can't do. I rap, but every part of my show, I do a freestyle exercise. So that's where I have audience members pull objects out of their pockets and I freestyle using all the objects in the audience. So as far as a live performance, I think I win. So take that, Chris Jericho.
Okay, so he says that he raps. Okay, so let's spin the question. A rap battle between him and Max Caster. Who wins?
Okay. I say me. 'Cause I'm just that good. And I can properly freestyle, which is very much a hard skill to do. It's like improv, basically. Improv but rapping. So if I ever see a video of him being able to do that, I'll give him much more credit. But so far he can keep his pre-written lines and his 2-bar punchlines for now. I'll stick to my more complicated stuff.
I'm going to throw another curve into that. John Cena.
John Cena. Okay. Me or John Cena? Is that what the question is? Or Matt Caster and John Cena?
Between the three of you.
Oh, I think I would still come out on top. I've heard John Cena's rap, and they're very basic. That's all I'm gonna say. What he focuses on is the punchline. But you guys saw the Bray Wyatt and John Cena match. That D's nuts line was so weak. That's all I gotta say. Yeah.
All right. Well, we've thrown rap battles, we've thrown rock battles, we've thrown a lot of questions. Where is your? How can we find you on social media? And if you're not still injured, when is your next match, or when are you planning to come back from injury?
Luckily, I'm not still injured. I've actually been fighting through my injury, which I wouldn't recommend, but it gets the job done. My next match is actually next weekend in what is it? Sheesh, it's Texas, Lubbock, Texas. Sorry, I'm not sure if I'm gonna have a match. I know I'm gonna make an appearance. Me and my friend Scratch, the guy I talked about earlier, the Devil. We have some plans coming up, so we'll be making an appearance at Squared Circle Pro at Lubbock, Texas next weekend. And what was the other? Was there another part of the question that you had asked?
Social medias. Where can we find you on socials?
Okay. Yes, you can find me on TikTok and Instagram at Thomas Silva. Gachumeno is spelled CACHUMENO. And then you can find me Facebook, Thomas Silva. So yeah. Oh, and YouTube. You can find me on YouTube too. which is I'm trying to upload more of my matches so people can have one place that they can go to and find all my catalog. So yeah, Thomas Silva across all platforms.
Tap.
I don't have any other questions, Heartbreaker.
All right. Well, let's see here. As we were saying before, this is, a first. So while we've got our guest on here, again, we want to thank him for taking time out of his busy schedule this evening. He could have very well been playing with his pups or going and hanging out with his girlfriend, but he chose to spend time with us tonight. We really appreciate that. So, again, Messiah, we made it through a podcast without you. And you know what? It didn't sound like paint drying, and we didn't have to look at that big, fat, ugly forehead of yours.
Ooh, burn.
And we didn't have to listen to wah, 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 wah about how much you love Orange Cassidy. I don't know what you're smiling for, Principal Tap. I mean, you couldn't even make it to the last two podcasts on time.
Ooh.
I mean, come on. I think one day was Labor Day and you said you had an excuse of working your real job. Dude, your job is your podcast. You should know better. And then walking home from football practice and showing up 7 minutes late to a podcast. Very unacceptable. Very, very unacceptable. I'm the only one that's here on time every day. I put my blood, my sweat, my tears into this podcast, and the host and the co-host can't even give me the same luxury. How dare you guys? Even the guest showed up before the co-host today. I mean, that's really sad when a guest shows up before the co-host. Well, he had no choice but to show up for the host because, like I said, the host is out getting his appointment done, and we'll talk about that appointment at the end. But again, we enjoy having you on. We would love to have you back at any time. So for now, thank you, Principal Tap. Thank you, Mr. Silva, for coming on. I'm the Heartbreaker. And hey, Messiah, I hope you enjoy your appointment because I finally got you to the vet clinic so you can get yourself spaded and neutered and come back a happy and free and childless man on Monday when you come back for the podcast. So until then, we'll see you guys on Monday, or we'll see actually Sunday. And we might actually have a second interview tonight as well. That's right. We're the hardest working podcast in all of podcasting. We not only do 1, 2, we've done 3 podcasts in a night, but hey, who's counting, right? So until next time, we'll see you guys next time. And again, thank you, Mr. Silva, for giving us your time tonight. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And Messiah, enjoy your spade and neuter. Good night, everybody.